Hello friends and welcome to another video. My name is Julie if you're new here, and today I'm going to talk to you about all of the summer romances that I read. The good, the bad and the ugly. So let's get into it. Let us start with a really good one. It was the first summer romance that I read this year and I was not disappointed. It's called Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez and I love this book so much. And it is about two people who meet on Reddit because they both have this kind of curse. Justin goes on Reddit because he thinks he has this curse where every time he dates someone they end up finding their life partner after that. And then he finds Emma and she shares the same fate as him and they think, oh, if we start dating, this might end up in our favor and we might find our life partner after that. So, which starts out with this very funny, quirky trope, ends up being a really deep book about connection and trauma and family situations that might influence your relationships and how to deal with that. And both of the characters really show healthy way of doing that, and I really like the relationship and how it evolved from something very superficial and funny to something that is still really supportive and where the characters just felt like they really belonged together and they had a really special connection that you would find in real life as well. And apart from that, the writing was really great. There were a lot of metaphors for the story and how the characters were feeling in the book and in the surroundings and stuff like that, which is something that I'm sometimes missing in romance books, which I'm going to tell you in which ones later, because there were certainly ones in here where the writing wasn't as good. And this one was a really stellar example of how to write a good romance book, I think. And one of the few times where I didn't mind the third act breakup, where it didn't feel forced or weird or anything or overdramatic, because this situation was dramatic and it felt like something in real life that could actually cause something like that to happen and cause a real reaction, which in romance books that's sometimes hard to get or to write realistically. So Just for the Summer, definitely a summer romance that I would recommend. Unfortunately, the next summer romance that I started was a big flop for me. It is called A Greek Island Escape by Kate Frost, and what can I say about this book? Let me start with I DNF'd it. It is one of those books that is on Kindle for kind of free if you have Amazon Prime, and I thought I'd just pick it up with not really knowing what it is about. So you're supposed to follow this young actress called Xanter, and she has a Greek heritage and she lives in London and she is in some really great musical productions. And she gets left this villa in Greece by her godmother and she decides to just go there for the summer and renovate this villa and spend the time also exploring her heritage and the people that she knows there. Her family is from there, but her mom has left and there have been some like bad feelings towards the place and towards her granddad who still lives there. Yeah, this is supposed to be a really kind of famous actress that is in this great place and has worked so hard to get there, obviously. And now she goes to Greece and she's thinking about, I kind of am burned out. Should I really go and do this job again? Or like she gets offered a new role and she has to decide whether to take it or not, or whether to maybe even stay in Greece because of course there's this really hot neighbor that she kind of falls for. But this relationship just doesn't make any sense. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense because they have nothing in common except for maybe them being really connected to this godmother. But they have so different lives and everything about this is so cliche. There are so many cliches about Greece and about the life there, and then also about fame and how to deal with it, and just about the side characters as well. Her best friend, he's such a walking cliche. Just, yeah, it is not fun. And then she also is supposed to be really young, but it feels like being in the head of, I don't know, 50, 60-year-old British woman the whole time because of the way that this is written. And the amount of times that bloody is used in this book, I couldn't stand it. And I got pretty far into it because it's not that long and it's, I don't know, I thought maybe the summer vibes were going to get me at one point, but just the whole conversations were so wooden and nothing about this felt authentic or like something that could happen in real life. And then the whole time we're getting these hints that she is really into taking photos and posting them online. And I don't know if that in the end is supposed to be like, oh, I can just become a photographer or become an Instagram influencer about life in Greece or something like that. I really hope it doesn't, because I don't really like the message of, oh, I have this great life in London that I worked so hard for and now I'm just going to leave it all for this guy that I know for 10 days. Which, if you want to do that, then fine, but I don't think that is necessarily super romantic if you don't even speak the same language. And not to say that that can't work, but definitely the connection needs to be a bit more. And also about him not really speaking English that well and her not speaking Greek that well, he ends up speaking in English and then using the most complex words and then at times just not knowing the words at all. And as somebody who doesn't speak English as their first language, that just felt so inauthentic. Yeah, I think I could rant about this book a lot longer, but we're going to leave it at that. The thing with reading summer romances this year was that it was such a huge up and down for me. I was going to make a list of my favorites, but I thought like, no, this doesn't represent what summer romances are to me in my life, because there's so many bad ones out there, oh my god. But the next one was an actually good one, again. It is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, and this has the most cliché setup if I've ever heard one. It is about Anna Green, and she got married to this guy be able to afford her rent because they were only allowed to live in this really cheap apartments if they were married, which weird premise, but okay. Then they got divorced, but it turns out when she loses her job and kind of the next day, the guy she got married to stands in front of her door, that they didn't actually get divorced. And that he now wants her help to convince his family that they are happily married and have been so for the last 5 years. And they, of course, have to go on this grand family vacation to this island near Singapore. And he is obviously filthy rich. And it is just so fun. It is also not the most serious book, but there are some really serious topics in it. And I did really like the characters and how they interacted and how they overcame some of the challenges in their way. And obviously the setting was beautiful, but also it wasn't that beautiful because of the family and all of the drama that came with this family. And yeah, they just have to lie to them and have to pretend to be together, and she is really struggling with all of the wealth that is portrayed there and how the family is dealing with that and how insincere they are. And he is really also struggling with his family because he doesn't like the way that they are living. He had this huge fallout with his father a few years ago, or like even longer, and now he kind of has to pretend that it's okay and it's about him being able to get his trust fund or something like that. And in the end she's like, oh, I don't understand why that's so important to you. And there's also obviously a lot of mistrust or like not knowing what is sincere and what is fake in this fake dating situation. And I think it's a really good fake dating book. And from all of the summer romances I read, I think this one has the best summer vibes, really, just because it's set on this island and there are a lot of descriptions about the activities that they're doing and stuff like that, so it is really fun. It wasn't like the best book I ever read and definitely not as well written as Just for the Summer, but it was a really good, solid summer romance that made me feel really summery, and yeah, just the vibes were there. And the relationship and romance was also really cute, and in the end I felt like it resolved really well, and I like that when in romances like these, I have this thing with billionaire romances, I don't really like them that much, but in this one I felt like the power dynamic didn't seem as bad as in the most billionaire romances. So do with that what you will. I really enjoyed reading this, and if you're looking for a typical summer romance, I would definitely recommend this one. And we're back on the roller coaster. The next book that I finished was The Suit Life by Portia McIntosh. Yeah, I'm now realizing that a lot of summer romances also have to do with weddings, because in the last one they were there for his sister's wedding. In this one, she is also there for her sister's wedding. It's a destination wedding as well. And then in the last one, it's the same thing again. In The Suit Life, it is about Gigi, and she has to go to her sister's wedding where her ex is also going to be present with his new girlfriend, and his new girlfriend is this Instagram model. She's everything that Gigi is not really. She is really put together, she is famous, and yeah, just has this seemingly perfect life, and Gigi is kind of still hung up on her ex and kind of wants to show him, oh, I can also do better. I can also bring someone who is really kind of the same level as his new girlfriend, who by the way is called Sunshine, which is a choice. And then she goes on all of these dates, and it starts out as this really fun book about her going on all of these dates and trying to find a guy. But there the cliches also start, and it's just really a bit annoying because she messes up in the most unrealistic ways. And then they go to the destination wedding, and she has told her family that she's going to bring someone, and she's still like, oh, he's not here yet, but he will be at the wedding. And then in the resort where they're staying at, she is treated as if she is a very famous person, and you can tell that there's something not right, and that they're treating her like she's somebody that she isn't, and everybody's speculating if it has to do with her new boyfriend. And then in this resort she meets a guy, but she's also still looking for other guys who might be up to her standards and up to what she wants to portray. But she meets this guy who kind of says, like, I can help you, and they end up becoming really good friends. But just everything about this book is a cliche, and while it was not as bad as the one in Greece, it just, the writing wasn't good. It just wasn't good. There was nothing unique or interesting about the story. There were just cliches over cliches, and you could tell where the story was going from the get-go, and yeah, there was not a single twist or anything that I didn't see coming, and it was just a fine book. But honestly, even though it was so short, it took me quite a while to finish because I was just not interested after the halfway point anymore. It just kept repeating itself a lot, and the side characters also weren't interesting enough to keep my attention with some of the drama that went on there. I thought almost all of the male characters were really stupid or not well written. Not that the female ones were better, because there were so many cliches, and trying to resolve some of the cliches in the end, but it didn't really work. So this is what people mean when they say chicklet, and I don't like that. And I don't like that it feels like romance is really stupid and a dumb genre, and this is what people mean when they say that. So I would rather not read more books like that. Then the last summer romance that I read is one that you have probably heard about, because it is, I would say, the most hyped summer romance this year. It is Problematic Summer Romance by Ellie Hazelwood. I have discovered Ellie Hazelwood a bit later than everyone else, just in the end of last year, and I have been obsessed with reading her books since then. And this is about an age gap romance where she is in love with her brother's best friend, and they go on this destination wedding together. It is in Italy, and just everything about this book is so good. I loved it. I loved the descriptions of Italy and the Italian culture and coast and the summer vibes and Sicily. Yeah, it's just so beautiful. And also the relationship between the two characters is obviously as well a cliche, but it turns into something more, and you can really see how their relationship developed. And that was awesome because it totally made sense, and you could just see these characters finding this very unique connection between them, and how he is really struggling with the age gap in this, and he doesn't want to take advantage of her. And I think that is my only complaint with the book that I have, that there is a bit too much focus on him saying like, oh, I don't want to take advantage of her. But she also addresses that and talks a lot about how he doesn't give her the agency to decide on what she wants herself. And yeah, it just made sense to have that as the main conflict. And I love this. I also loved a lot of the side characters. They felt really genuine and like they were modeled after real people in her life. And yeah, just everything about this book, really good. I definitely understand why people like Ellie Hazelwood and are recommending this book so much. So these were the 5 summer romances that I read this year. And if you have any more recommendations, please leave them down below in the comments. And I hope you found a new book to try out and you also know which ones to avoid. So I will see you in my next video. Bye!